What's up, boys? Today we're back working on Tommy's car. Before we get started, I want to apologize for not getting every single process of the build. We have so much going on here at the shop, a ton of engines. We have my car. It's actually race season, so we're putting my cars together, like my drag cars, my street cars, and on top of that, we finished the red K-Series EG hatch. We're actually giving this car away April 28th, so you gotta make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll post up more details soon. But today we're actually gonna finish Tommy's car. We got a lot of stuff done. I'm gonna show you guys in a little bit more detail what we got done. And I also wanna say that this caliber of a build isn't like what we did to this car. So every car is different that comes in here. Some cars are on a budget, some cars aren't. Some cars just need a K-swap. But Tommy's car was more of like a regular K-swap build for us. It wasn't like all out like the red car. I'll show you guys some of the builds in a second. I'm gonna get into some of the stuff that we did so I can show you guys. And again, I apologize for not getting the full process of it. But today we got the exhaust all welded up. We did a V-band exhaust on here, so it's easy to remove. And again, like I said, this level of a build isn't like what we did on the red car. So this car obviously isn't fully undercoated, but it's an original Type-R Integra, JDM Type-R Integra. We did V-bands on the exhaust. There's a V-band here, stainless full exhaust. Jarek did a great job putting this up. He welded it. So you guys that have K-swaps and you guys always break the runners up top, like where it bolts up to the head, it's because some of you guys don't run flex pipes. Flex pipes are super important on a K-swap car. Because imagine doing a burnout, right? The motor still flexes and this is trying to go like this, right? So the flex, you know, it takes a lot of that out. You don't break the runners. So we put a V-band here, a Myers header, shift box is up here. A lot of people asked about the shift box, right? So this is a no-cut shift box. You can run the stock shift boot. This bolts up to the factory holes right here, these two bolts, and then you got to drill up here.
You only just have to drill two holes in the front, but other than that, you don't have to cut. It's a no-cut shift box. You don't have to cut anything inside the car. We wanted to keep the car original because it's a Type-R, so you never know if he wants to go back to a B series, he can. But besides that, we just have the cover we have to put back on over here. We were just adjusting the shift cables earlier. That's where the cover is off. But
yeah, so there's a cover, makes it look clean. There's a cover that goes under here. So these two bolts are factory. They go to the factory bolt holes, and then those two you have to drill. So you can put a B series back in the car.
You have to weld the bracket up top, but
yeah, you have to weld the transmission mount bracket back on. This car got brand new axles like I promised. You guys see the CV axles, and they have the ABS ring because
they wanted ABS.
I don't know why Tommy wanted to keep ABS. It's one of those things like, I'll show you guys when the car gets down. The ABS unit is ugly. Like to us, we don't like it. It's factory in the car, it came factory. So that means we had to get axles with ABS rings to keep it, and we did that. So got brand new axles, got the ABS rings just for Tommy. We should have zinc plated the outer of the axles, right? He wanted zinc, literally everything. And I read you guys' comments. I really want to get a zinc plate valve, like zinc plated valve cover to put on this car just for jokes, but we might do it. I don't know yet. The car's not done yet. We didn't put on the dyno, so I really want to do what you guys want and put a zinc valve cover on here, but I don't know how that shit would look pretty shitty. What do you think? Zinc valve cover?
It's stupid, but to get a laugh out of time, I think
it'd be great. Yeah. All right, so we got new axles in the car. Everything's bolted up. The full exhaust is on now. Axles on this side. So the suspension's all bolted up complete. Engine bay looks amazing. We'll lower the car down now. We actually ran into an issue with the radiator. We'll lower it down now and I'll show you guys what we ran into. Probably the only thing that kind of really held us up. All right, so we got the car on the ground. I'm gonna get into a little bit of detail, like a lot of the stuff that we did. Because you guys gotta remember, right? This car came in here naked, bare, didn't have nothing in here. No fenders, bumpers, lights, hood, like everything. You guys gotta remember, everything was put on here. All the trim, all the moldings back on, clips, all the bolts, literally everything. ABS unit, booster, master, everything. So I'm gonna start from the top and work our way down. So the hood went back on. We put all the trim back on, all the moldings with the clips. And then we put the sticker that he had back on from like
I'm gonna buy him a new sticker.
He needs to get a new sticker, but we put his old sticker back on. And my favorite part that we put back on was the badge. You can't have a Type-R with no badge. All right, guys, so check out this engine bay. And drop in the comments what you guys think. You know, you can be honest about it. Like I said, this car is not the same caliber as the red car. It's a completely different build. This is more of like a stock K-swap, which that car is also a stock K-swap, but it's not like This car's not like fully all out, because I would have deleted a bunch of stuff on this car, like the ABS unit, which isn't a huge deal. It doesn't look that bad. So we ended up putting the reservoir, instead of putting it here, we put it here.
Because it won't fit on that side.
Because
it hits the alternator.
Yeah, it does. It hits the alternator. We tried to put it where you guys said you guys wanted it on this side, factory location, but it hits the alternator, and we didn't want to put a hole in the side of this. So we put it on this side, and my brother tucked the line, the reservoir line, underneath it here, so it looks great. So this is the issue that we had with the radiator. So if you guys see that, the runner from a stock RBC, the RBC sits kind of up, so you get that clearance for the radiator. So this Skunk 2 sits down, so it's like this, the neck for this came out and it almost touched the TPS. So we welded a 90 on here. It looks pretty good. Every car is different. Every setup is completely different. We run into problems all the time. We have to custom make stuff, and this was one of those things that we had to do. We had a full-size radiator in here because the half-size in here looks super, super ugly. Like if you put a half-size Civic radiator, it doesn't look that good. So Integras come with a full-size, so that's what we wanted to do. All right, so I'm gonna go through all the bolts. All the bolts are new. Well, not new, but they're zinc. They look great. Put the spoon reservoir socks on there. Fuel lines are on, AN line. We got a K-tuned fuel rail, K-tuned fuel pressure regulator. The battery's tied in. All the charge harness is made. Fuse box is completely in with the zinc bolts. Shift cables are on. I mean, the engine bay just looks really, really good.
Besides that too, like the engine bay looks good. The inside of the motor, we put a new timing chain, new guides. It's got a 4-piston Type S pump. That has a new chain as well for the oil pump, new guides for the oil pump.
Oh, and they did a 4-piston ported Skunk 2 manifold. That's also ported.
Yeah.
You guys did a lot of work though, like the attention to detail, right? Let's just go through a few of the details. All the headlight bolts, the radiator brackets are polished. They're really, really nice. Like everything looks really good. Do you guys,
I really wish this fucking ABS shit wasn't in here like this, because look at this. It just takes away from the bay. I mean, this is factory, so we just put it back in the factory spot. That's the power wire.
It looks clean though. It's not too bad. Like everything looks clean, but you're right.
Away, like they painted the bay, right? So it's just taken away from the paint of the bay, like showing off how clean the bay really is. But
and how clean the swap is. Like the swap looks amazing. And one thing that we did also, we put a brand new K-tuned engine harness in here. The stock harness, I don't know if you guys know about K-swaps or not. So the stock harnesses have that big plastic clip, and it like sits here, and it's bulky, super ugly. So brand new K-tuned engine harness, looks amazing. It's tucked. You can barely see any wires. Everything is hidden. We drilled the hole underneath of there so the harness can go through, and we kept the heat. Everything looks factory. All the brake lines, fuel lines, and the heater hose. Where is the clutch line?
You guys like that? Right here. There's an open spot over here, so I just ran inside the bracket.
Put a stainless clutch line. That shit is tucked. I like the
the
regulator looks good too. Also mounted right there. It like fits in with everything. Like everything flows like really good. Even the battery tie down looks dope with the zinc bolts. The charge harness looks like really, Jordan did a really good job on that. You think Tommy's gonna be happy with this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Tommy is like super picky.
You gotta compare. Tommy's used to doing like 50 to 150 grand builds, you know, like in those GTR restorations. So this, you can't really compare this car to the builds that he really does, you know. You have to treat this car on the budget that we had, you know. So for the budget that we had, I think the car came out amazing. So. And
again, like this build is just a regular K-swap build. We'll just get into a little bit of detail with the red car.
It's not like we're, you know, we're not really down talking it, but we wish we had a bigger budget to kind of fully restore this car the way we really wanted to, but not every car is like that, so.
Just remember guys, here we do everything. We do from like mild builds, wild builds, like whatever you guys want. So I'm gonna show you guys like what we did to the red hatch. It's a little bit different than that car, but like on this car, I'll just give you an idea what he was talking about. Everything's clean. There's no wiring run here. There's no wiring ran here. If you look at this car, everything's just super clean. Like this build is what I'm talking about. This is like completely almost all out. And then we'll show you guys my street car. We also went all out on this. It's like the type of builds that we do, like when we keep, like this is my personal car, so I'll show you the same thing we did to the red car, you know? We did this car's B-Series turbo all-wheel drive.
But then again, like a build like this is, I want to say it's close to like almost roughly, for an engine bay like this, setup, probably like 40 grand, 30, 40 grand. That's not the all-wheel drive kit and stuff, obviously, but just something, rough estimate for you guys, because I see a lot of people always asking like how much does something like that cost, so something like that, I'd say around 30 to 40 grand to get you something clean.
30 to 40 grand if they...
Probably around like 30 grand, I'd be realistic, you know? Like paint, engine, harness, all that stuff.
That's just probably not including the car though, because like that's the type of build that you probably spend like 30, maybe 40 grand doing everything we did to this car without buying the shell. So that if you bought a clean shell, like painted already, the shells are selling anywhere right now from like 10, 15 grand, 20 grand for like a SIR shell, something like that, or a stock SIR car. But like roughly something like this, like the red car probably costs like in the $30,000, $40,000 mark, just depending on how crazy you want to go, you know? You can build your K-swap at home for like, if you bought all the parts yourself and put it in yourself, like just in parts alone, I think you'd be at like anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000.
Just in parts. But then again, people are gonna say, oh, you guys are wrong, but yeah, you can go out and buy a car that's probably already done, but it's not gonna look like this. Something that looks like this, you're gonna spend between 30 40 grand just to buy a car that's done up like this, you know?
We're not saying that car, Tommy's car was like $30,000, $40,000. Tommy's car is just, he had a few parts. We had a bunch of parts here. It's a stock 2.4, stock Type S trans with a LSD. So super, super simple. It's like a regular factory 220 to 240 horsepower build. I'm gonna stop ranting and then we're gonna put some oil in here. I'm gonna get some antifreeze in here and then I'm gonna try to turn this thing on for the first time. I don't know if the battery's charged or not. It looks pretty much ready to fire. Everything's bolted up. We're gonna do a first startup on this car. Everything's on, stock injectors are in. We actually are putting a set of 550cc injectors. They're just not here yet, but the map for this car is already on it for a stock 2.4 with stock injectors. It has gas. We're just gonna put oil and antifreeze and then hopefully we get this thing started today. All right, boys, getting some fluids in this thing. Got some OEM Honda coolant. Got oil going in. And hopefully this thing fires. It got gas already in it. We're gonna try to start the car up right now. We're gonna put the oil cap back on and try to start it now. If it fires up, everything goes good, we're gonna back it out and bleed the coolant. I'll just give you guys a quick walk around the car. All right, boys, here we go. Before we try to start it, because we got new lines on here, new fuel lines, you always wanna cycle the key before you start it. Just to check for leaks, you just put your hand underneath here, or underneath whatever fittings, and just check for fuel leaks. So you don't want nothing to burn or whatever. So you wanna cycle that key a few times. Oh, just one more time so I can check the fuel pressure. All right, yeah, we're good. Give this thing a fire.
You gonna start?
I don't know, J-Rock's not here, so it might not start. No, it's not gonna start. You need a... Tommy gave us a dead battery. I'm gonna put a pack on it real quick. All right, boys, got the pack on it. Let's try number 2.
Fucking Tommy.
Fucking Tommy gave us a dead battery. Okay, that sounds good. All right. We got a running K-swap, you guys. You guys hear it? First start. Gotta bleed the coolant. I'm gonna let it run for a little bit. Rev it a little bit?
You didn't calibrate the TPS. So.
Oh, we didn't calibrate the TPS. Oh, I forgot. We put a brand new TPS on here that we didn't calibrate. Oh, but I'll roll it out. That way it doesn't get too smoky in here. And I'll show you guys around the car. We still gotta do a little bit of wiring in the inside, but I think that's pretty much it for Tommy's car. I think it's gonna be ready for the rollers after we get the injectors.
Sounds really, really quiet.
For a car that just got built, this thing is super, super quiet. What do you think of the overall build? Do you think you like it?
I like it. Honestly, some people might say Tommy fucked up, he ruined the value of the car, but he did this car a fucking favor because those fucking B series are trash. And another thing, they don't always, it got a K24a, so it's a JDM K24.
Yeah, the car has a JDM K24a swap with Type S oil pump. But my brother's right. A lot of people in the comments did say that he ruined the car, it's a Type-R, you shouldn't have did that, but my brother's right. You did do this fucking car a favor. This car needed a K-swap because it was slow. I don't know if you guys remember in Tommy's video, the car made what, 190 horse?
187?
Yeah, 187, like, who the fuck wants to drive that?
It really ripped any tire.
Yeah, this shit's gonna rip these tires, because you guys remember, that red car spins on our AAA's first and second. This shit got some like old street tires.
A little bit more power than the red car too, because of the intake manifold and the header that it has on there.
Yeah, this car is definitely gonna make more power. It's gonna have 550cc injectors, 4-piston ported intake manifold, fuel pump. I think it'll make, I personally think it's gonna make 240. What do you think it's gonna make?
245 maybe. The good thing about this too is like whoever owns this car has room to like progress, you know, like it got 2.4 block. It's easy now. You can put a 2.0 head later on, make close to 300 horsepower if you really want to with some cams. But I think this is a perfect street car or whatever they're gonna use the car for, whether it's for the track. But I think it's a perfect setup though.
All right, I want to hear the exhaust. Will it rev with the TPS and stuff?
No, we didn't. We were rushing putting the car together. We didn't really calibrate the TPS. But
all right, so
tomorrow when Jamie comes.
So next step from here, get Jamie here to put, well, the car has a map on it, but we're waiting for the injectors to come here. So when the injectors get here, we'll drop those in, call Jamie, get the TPS calibrated, get the injectors in, and then it'll be pretty much ready for the dyno. We have to give this car an alignment. Before that, anytime you go to the dyno, you want to get an alignment. So this car, the Rat Cat came out, the subframe, so we're just gonna realign the car, make sure everything's good, and then we're pretty much good to go. I'll give you guys a quick walk around the car. My brother put the, Tommy zinc coated the.
It's supposed to be black, but I know Tommy likes zinc.
So check this out. Tommy zinc coated the Phillips screws that go on the fender liner, but I don't know how I feel about that. It actually looks pretty clean. They're supposed to be black, but here's the overall car. It's running right now, idling.
It's a fucking sleeper. I know.
It is. Look at the car. Would you guys ever think this thing got a K-swap in it?
I honestly wouldn't change a fucking thing.
Got a K-swap. We put a vibrant 3-inch muffler, super quiet. When you get on these cars, it's like loud with a vibrant, but overall, I mean, it's not a bad build. Like, it's a pretty decent car, pretty decent Type-R. Could use a little detail, a little buff, but it's a full fucking sleeper. Full stock suspension. I'm pretty sure they're gonna change that shit out, but would you think if you close the hood on here,
we should get a shot with the hood closed real quick.
Yeah, we should, huh? Give me a second real quick. We'll be right back with the hood closed. This thing is an absolute sleeper. Like, sleeper. Like, this is the first time I think that we closed the hood on this car since we had the K-swap in it. Just look at that thing. Absolute. You would never think this thing had a K-swap.
Bring back the video, the first clip when we first picked up the car from them.
I have a few pictures I'll put up of when we picked up the car. It was completely naked. I just want you guys to remember how bare this car came and how naked it was. Everything was completely out of the engine bay. Now we have a running K-swap ITR. A huge shout out to J-Rock, my brother Kevin. They put a lot of hours in this car. It's after hours here, so they're not here. A ton of work went into this.
Sleeper, right?
Yeah, it's a sleeper. This thing's a real sleeper.
And boom, this is the part that makes me happy.
It's got a K-swap. Yeah, what do you guys tell people with the B? What do you guys tell people with the B series swapped ITRs?
What they say? What they're saying, right? K-swap the fucking world, right?
Yo, he ain't lying. There's probably like.
We're out here saving these Hondas and K-swapping them all.
We're out here saving these Hondas from Tommy, and we're giving Tommy a little bit of the K-swap world. I want him to do like a first, second, third gear pull when he gets here, but I don't know if he's gonna do that. Maybe a first, second gear pull, but either way, whatever Tommy does, he doesn't really like Honda. I think he got 1 or 2 of them left at his shop. Drop in the comments what you guys think of this build before we get on the dyno, and also drop in the comments how much power do you think it's gonna make. JDM K24a Type-S oil pump kit, no head package, injectors, ported skunk tube manifold, Type-S trans, it got a 6-puck comp clutch, and a Myers, like a really nice Myers header.
Whoever guesses the right number, I'll cash out you $100.
You guys heard that. Whoever gets the exact dyno numbers, he's gonna cash out you $100. And if we get 15K subscribers before the dyno video hits, I promise you guys I will do the biggest burnout in this car while Tommy is here. Like, the biggest burnout. And I won't even tell Tommy that I'm gonna do it. I will just pull the car off right after the dyno, and I promise you these tires are gonna be gone. All right, boys, I'm gonna end this video here. Make sure to drop in the comments what you guys think it's gonna make for horsepower numbers. My brother's giving away $100 to the person that gets the exact horsepower number correct. So you get the exact horsepower number, he's gonna cash app you $100. And if we get to 15K subs, I promise you I will do the biggest burnout Tommy has ever seen. So I'll see you guys on the dyno.